It is April 26th, 1984. A Soviet surface action group centered on the Kiev-class carrier is attempting to break out through the GIUK gap into the Atlantic. Several nuclear submarines have also been detected operating in the area. Task Force Group 314.1, consisting of HMS Illustrious, 4 anti-submarine warfare escorts, 3 Type 42 destroyers, and Type 22 frigates, are tasked with preventing the breakout. There's also a P-3 Orion available for surface and subsurface search. Unbeknownst to the Soviets, there are also various British submarines about, ready to lay a trap. Our objective today is to prevent the Soviet Surface Action Group from breaking through the GIUK gap. We are to locate and destroy the Kiev-class carrier. It is vital that HMS Illustrious survives the encounter. Welcome to Operation Northern Barrier. Hey there, welcome back to Sea Power. Welcome to the breakthrough of the GIUK gap, or at least the Soviet attempted breakthrough, because we are here to stop them. This video is going to double as a gameplay video, as well as a video showcasing the Royal Navy mod. Both of the scenario and the mod are linked down below. Now, I'm going to pause the game here, because we got quite a few ships to cover. The commanding ship here is Illustrious. This is the British carrier. What are we going to find on this aircraft carrier? Let's have a look. We got a couple of Sea Harriers. We have a couple of Sea Kings. The Sea Harriers are capable of getting loaded out with air-to-air. There are no F-14s, there are no F-18s. These things are kitted out with a couple of Sidewinders. The heavy air-to-air gives you a whole 4 Sidewinders. Then again, it is 1984, so we're not talking about the very late era, which in this game is about 1991. Still, just relying upon a couple of Sidewinders doesn't really fill me with a whole sense of security about my combat air patrol. These guys, thankfully, do have the Ferranti Blue Fox air and surface directed search radar. So as opposed to some of the other Harriers, these things come with a radar, which is definitely going to make things easier. But it's still no F-14. Alternative loadout, heavy air-to-air, anti-ship loadout gives me a couple of Sea Eagles, Strike gives me some bombs and some Sidewinders, and over here the Strike Heavy gives me a couple more bombs, actually the same type of bombs but Mark 83s. We got a Seed loadout with a Sea Eagle, anti-radiation, combat air support, no, close air support with a couple of rocket pods, more rocket pods, Strike Precision with a Sea Eagle, TV guidance, yeah, okay. Now, of course, we don't just have to rely upon Illustrious. We have plenty more ships around. So let's see what these other guys are capable of. Over here we have Liverpool. Liverpool is a Type 42 Sheffield-class destroyer. This one is aimed at surface-to-air warfare, so it's an air defense ship. And to that end, it has the Sea Dart out to 40 miles. So that's definitely going to be a very nice air deterrent. It might not stop all the Soviet aircraft from getting so close, but it's a start. Also comes with the Stingray, which is an anti-submarine torpedo. But, well, 6 miles, I'd rather keep them much farther afield by deploying a whole bunch of sonobuoys between myself and any potential submarine location. Ambuscade over here, Type 21 Amazon-class frigate. These things are armed with a general-purpose escort loadout. So you're going to see them do a little bit of everything. They have a Sea Cat to deal with enemy aircraft, but only out to 3 miles, so really not aircraft, but missile defense. We have a couple of MM-38 Exocets to deal with enemy ships. 22 miles is something that the Soviets will most likely laugh at, because that's typically the minimum range of some of the Soviet missile, well, at least the more advanced missiles. A couple of Mark 46 torpedoes, and the rest is mostly self-defense. So, for now, I'm not that fascinated with the loadout. Over here, we have Brazen. That's Jingles' old ship, if I'm not mistaken, the Type 22 class. And the Type 22s are ASW ships, anti-submarine warfare. To that end, they are really, well, poorly defended. They have a couple of Stingray torpedoes, they have a couple of Exocets, and they have the Seawolf system out to 5 miles. So this thing is sheerly there, seemingly, as an ASW platform. It's going to use the Westland Lynx in order to hunt down submarines. So let's tell the Brazen to launch both of her birds, and we're going to start setting up a patrol. I believe the rest of the ships are just different variants of the ships that I've already covered. We also have access to a couple of submarines, and Warspite is now a submarine. The name has been reused. This is the HMS Warspite S-103, capable of launching a couple of Mark 8 torpedoes. Now, the Mark 8s are very, 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 very old. 1925. And this is the final updated 1965, Mod 4. It's a dumbfire torpedo. Yes. This thing has no guidance. So send it and good luck to the torpedo. It's not going to be getting any guidance. It doesn't have an active homing, passive homing, nothing. If you shoot these and you miss, that's it. Now, what these things do have is the Tigerfish. And this is a very interesting torpedo. It's not fast. It's doing 24 knots, although I think that might be their cruising speed. I think attack speed might be better. And with that, they can engage out to 21 miles against surface and submarine targets, depending on what you find. So these, against an aircraft carrier, might be very handy. Courageous and Splendid over here are similar submarines. And these are the Swifter class attack subs. They unfortunately do not have a towed array. So any detection that will do is going to have to be done by their own sonar array mounted on the bow of the boat. Now, we are expecting a couple of Soviet warships coming in somewhere from the north. And right now I don't know anything, but maybe the P3 can help with that. So I'm going to activate surface search. We are at altitude 25,000, which is fine. I'm going to continue on my course, and I'm going to start launching a combat air patrol from Illustrious. The Sea Harriers, again, not great, but hey, it's better than not having them at all. Let's send out 4 of them. I only carry another 8. I don't want to waste the entire loadout just yet. Alright, let's run it. Let's get those Harriers airborne. There comes the elevator going down. You can already see the Harrier right there. The Illustrious, compared to a Nimitz, of course, is really a very small carrier, but it is what the British had at the time. And it has proven herself, well, she has proven herself to be pretty valuable. I am interested to see if she's going to be as valuable in this scenario, because if I'm up against a Kiev, and, well, if the AI would actually launch aircraft, I don't think my Harriers are going to have a very good chance against that. Situation for Splendid. She's at a depth of 385. There is a thermal layer 364. So that puts all of my submarines below the layer. I'm going to go above the layer. The distance is 170 miles. I wouldn't be surprised if Splendid's going to be able to pick up the target. She might pick it up, but I'm not sure if she can actually engage it. Swifters are not terribly fast. They're only doing 28 knots. So they're a bit slower than a Los Angeles, and with that they might be at risk, at greater risk that is, of getting eliminated by Soviet torpedoes. So first let's gather some intel by using the P3 and of course the Splendid sonar array, start deploying some sonar buoys and see if there is anything out there. The Lynx over here is going to start deploying sonar buoys in front. I'm going to keep about a, not 12 mile, but say about 20 mile range from Illustrious. And this means that the range from Birmingham is going to be, what, 8? 10. It's fine. So the Lynx is going to start dropping sonar buoys in that direction. I am not really in a hurry with the carrier. We're doing a good 12 knots, 11 to 12. And here is one of our Harriers taking off right now. Kestrel 1-2. Okay, other Lynx, airborne. Let's go. I'm wondering if I need to be deploying sonar buoys between Courageous and Warspite. Maybe not. Maybe I don't need to, because right now probably Warspite has a pretty good sonar array and thus detects most of the things. Oh. Tell me more. She's most likely going to tell or detect most of the things. This is a 23-mile passive. And that's a 23 to 25 mile passive. So, between... Ah, it's a recon bird. Alright. Kestrel. I want you to go after that. We're going to climb to 40. And we're going to push to intercept it. Harriers don't have a great range. I wonder if it's going to do a little better once we're at altitude. Hopefully we can get some altitude and thus greater fuel efficiency. Right now our fuel efficiency is going up. I don't want this recon bird here at all, because I'm very concerned about its capabilities of detecting me and promptly having the entire Soviet force throw missiles in my face. Which I wouldn't detect at the moment. Because right now, I'm not actually using any surface search or air search radar. The entire formation is MCON. So, I probably wouldn't detect a missile until it's too late. Soviet submarines have been reported in the area, so... Yeah, we're just gonna start throwing sonobuoys. I'm not gonna take the chance of having missed a submarine between Courageous and Warspite. I cannot take that risk. Too great of a risk. Kestrel. Yeah, the Tu-95 is now in range. Altitude of the bird is 30,000 feet. We will meet them there. Eventually, that is, because this is a almost an hour flight for the Harrier. Alright, let's get to hunting. A little later, we have picked up our first warship, which is fairly close to Splendid. And when I'm saying fairly close, she's 88 miles out. Which, of course, puts her pretty damn far away from Splendid. But hey, Splendid's the closest boat. So, I might be able to put her in harm's way and have her lay down an ambush. The temptation here is for Splendid to run in. At which point, she has a better than average chance of getting ambushed by a Soviet warship. Either a surface search or a submarine. So I'm just going to maintain my 5 knots. I'm going to try and plot where this thing might go. We don't have an exact fix on them. They're doing 14 knots. So this mission is definitely going to take a few hours of in-game time. So let's say about 14, give or take 14. I know I'm not exactly plotting the course correctly, but at any rate, in about 4 hours... If they maintain their course and speed, they're going to be here. If I maintain my speed and course, this is going to take me 10 hours. So if we want to lay down an ambush, we're going to have to start vectoring the submarines in right now. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive with the Warspite and the Courageous. Head standard. Let's see if we can figure out what exactly that is. We know that it has an EM emission, and we know it could be a Kara, a Cresta, or a Moskva. Moskva would be interesting, because it's another helo carrier. It is entirely possible that we're seeing the surface, or sorry, the air search, I think air search, because it has a longer reach. Seeing an air search from this Kara. It is a headset, sorry, not a headset. This is an air and surface search. And the top sail is an air search radar. We don't exactly know which one it is. At any rate, if it's a Kara, that would give them the capabilities... Oh crap, I'm running a mod. This is going to make things more interesting. I'm running the Packed Lethality mod, which means that these boys are packing missiles, which are potentially a lot more dangerous. More capable, because I don't personally recognize the V611 Storm. It's a 30-mile surface-to-air missile, and can also be used surface-to-surface. As for their capabilities, this is an ASW/ASM. You can use these in both roles. If you use them as an anti-submarine weapon, they're just going to drop the torpedo. As for the rest, not terribly dangerous, but a good, capable air defense ship nonetheless. As the P3 gets closer, we're picking up multiple contacts, including a very large. I very much suspect this is our target. This is Kiev. The rest of them are 3 large, possibly cruisers. I haven't heard anything in the briefing about a Kirov being around, so that's going to make my life a lot easier. And if we are, well, just dealing with a couple of missile cruisers, that doesn't necessarily make us feel safer. However, it is easier, in my opinion, to deal with a couple of missile cruisers than to deal with one Kirov battle cruiser. So, to the end of having an attack formation ready, I have sent forward Kestrel 5. Kestrel 5 is a flight of a couple of Harriers, and these boys are going to fly in, throw a couple of their Sea Eagle anti-ship missiles out, and we are going to see if there's anything capable of stopping them. I don't expect to get kills on everything in one go. I don't need to. I just need to start whittling down their forces. The problem is I only have 2 of these missiles per bird, so I have 8 missiles total. It's entirely likely they'll shoot everything down. But it's the best option I have right now, because the Exis set is worse, and it'll definitely take them a lot more time to reach the submarines. So if I can thin the herd a little bit, or cause some damage to one of the ships, maybe get them to slow down, that is going to give me more time for the submarines to get into reach. And that, I think, can be the real killer. So that's the plan. We're going to have Kestrel engage, that is Kestrel 5 flight, and engage the anti-submarine. Engage the surface ship that we have on radar over here. Knock that thing out, slow it down, and proceed. In the meanwhile, Kestrel 1 is still en route to take out the Tu-95. Time to take down their eyes. Their Tu-95 is still pretty far removed from my formation. And seeing as they're about 230, 240 miles out, I'm not too concerned about them detecting me right now. Nevertheless, that bird has got to go. So I'm going to task Kestrel 1-1 with engaging this Tu-95. They are using the AIM-9L, which is an all-aspect missile, and that makes engaging substantially easier in this game. See the track right there? Because this thing just engages from every separate angle. You don't really need to worry about having to line up behind a target. Especially with this bird, you really do not wish to line up behind the target, because it will try and shoot you down. It might be a capable bomber, it might be a capable aircraft, but it also still has a tail gunner. As old as it is, that is what we are dealing with. And unfortunately for the Russians, we're no longer dealing with it right now. Which means that right now, I actually feel a little bit more confident in engaging my surface or air search radar. Surface search, in this case, isn't that useful, because it's simply not going to do a whole lot. Air search, however, is definitely more interesting. So I'm going to take this ship here, this is the Birmingham, and turn their air search on. I want to be advised early about any potential Soviet missiles. That Kara turned out not to be a Kara, it is in fact a Cannon-class destroyer. These cannons are pretty capable ships, I have found. They can do a bit of both. They got the V601, which can be used against aircraft and surface ships, but they only got a 10-mile range. And that actually makes me quite happy, because that means that Kestrel 5 has a substantially easier time closing the distance, as opposed to having to deal with missiles at greater range. Beyond that missile system, it doesn't have that much. These Nevnis are armed with a couple of anti-submarine weapons, they have a gun, and they got some Seaways. That is it. And we are about to knock it out. Kestrel 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, and 5-4 are going to pump this thing full of missiles. Of course, this cannon is not alone. It is possible that she will get some assistance from other ships. This is where I find the British to be a little lacking. At least the Illustrious, that is. Because Illustrious does not have any electronic warfare options. There's no way to jam these guys. And because I cannot jam them, I don't really have a better way to get my missiles onto targets. So we'll just have to fly in, send the missiles, and hope that we can overwhelm them. Kestrel, maintain course. Yeah, we're definitely dealing with 5 targets. This is... Oh, somebody else activated their radar. Because the cannon... Huh. I think this might still be the cannon, 7010. It's just jumping around all over the place because we don't actually have them on radar. Let's get the P3 a little closer. We can definitely detect those large contacts on radar, but not the smaller guys. Such as the cannon. Doesn't really matter. These missiles that we're firing, these Sea Eagles, are capable of active radar homing. So really all I need to do is tell them, hey, there's something out there. Go look for a ship, go look for something big, and plow your way right into it. It is really that straightforward. Ideally, I'll take out a large. Not sure if that's going to be in the cards. I'm going to take my range a little bit more carefully. Let's say about 50, 55 mile range. And throw a missile out then. The hostile air. That's a helo. It is really unfortunate that the AI still doesn't use a whole lot of aircraft. Because that kind of negates most of the points that the Kiev can bring to the battlefield. Yes, they can launch helicopters, alright. They can throw soda boys out. Cool, but it doesn't do much. Alright, here goes. Salvo 8. Target 7010. Execute. Missiles out. And off we go. These things are going to go sea skimming. And we're going to go home. Do the same thing all over again. Let's see what their sea skim altitude is. This Ka-27 might pick it up. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they actually get the ability to spot those things visually. Because some of those Russian pilots, well, some of the American pilots too, they got amazing eyesight in this game. They just go, huh, there's a missile 60 miles out. Yeah, right, okay. Sea Eagles are now closing on the Russian formation, and of course the Russians are aware. And actively trying to shoot back. That was a slight course correction by the missiles. They're flying pretty damn low, 26 feet only. And yet, we have already lost 3 missiles. They're getting intercepted by the Krasny Krim. And some other warships are definitely pitching in. There goes another. So we only got 4 of them left. And, yeah, I don't think we're going to make it through these missile defenses. Which is kind of what I was expecting. I don't really think I can punch my way into this surface-to-air defense rate. So that means it's going to come down to the submarines. They will have to be the ones that actually deal the killing blow. Because the cannon over here and that right there is their aircraft carrier. These guys are very capable defenders. We got one missile left. And we still haven't seen the Sea Whiz from this destroyer. But we are getting a hit. Well done. That Kashin might have launched, or might have lost its bow launcher. Which would be a very serious blow to the ship. But it still comes with a stern launcher. Nevertheless, that is at least 1 hit out of 8 missiles. And with that, the snowball begins. Because once you start losing your surface-to-air capabilities on one ship, it just gets progressively worse. So, to capitalize on that, I have already told another Kestrel flight to start taking off, which they are presently preparing for. And that flight is loaded out with another couple of Sea Eagles. These guys are prepared to go up against the enemy again, throw 8 more missiles in their face, and whittle away at those defenses little by little. Now, I wonder if this model actually has the ski jump modeled, because I've also seen some aircraft just fly right through that. Oh, look at that. That's pretty good. They actually have it modeled. Very nice. Well done.
On station.
Well done. Fold up your gear. And we're out of here. Now, we're not out of here yet. We're going to wait for the rest of the formation to take off, and then we're going to go up against the Soviets again. In the meanwhile, these submarines are moving towards their assigned positions at, well, 5 knots, and Courageous and Warspite over here 15 and 20 knots. This Kashin has not yet restored propulsion. They're still burning. By the looks of it, the damage is contained to the bow segment. That has some scorch marks. The rest of it does not. There's no, that's their surface search. This is their air search. is still functional, so it is still a capable ship. So we've dealt the first blow, but definitely not the last. There is still a lot to be done before we take down that carrier, but you'll have to see about that in the next episode, the second part of this miniseries. If you want to see that right now, hit the join button next to the subscribe button, become a channel member, and for as little as $1 a month, you can immediately watch the next video. If not, don't worry about it, it's going to come tomorrow. So you can watch it tomorrow as well. Thank you for watching, hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you soon for the next part.